You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm going to do? I do it!
Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. My book review of Made in America, titled Thoughts of a Billionaire, man. Thoughts of a Billionaire. You know, when you read the book of a billionaire, guys, like its mindset is totally different. You know, like I'm reading this book and I'm just like, wow, Sam Walton's mind was in a different place, guys. Different place, you know. And you know, if you can even get like 1% of what a billionaire knows, 1% of a billion is a lot, people. 1% of a billion is not. And bear in mind, this is not just about money, guys. This is just about, you know, making a difference in the world. You know, achieving your goals, leaving an inheritance for your kids and your kids' kids. You know what I mean? Think bigger than yourself, people. So last time I covered up to step 10, or tip 10. So, you know, his 11th tip was on traveling to buy. He had a general rule of, you know, his expenses for traveling would not exceed 1% of how much money he actually was going to spend on the goods he was going to buy. You know, a lot of people I know, like, you know, most of the things I'll talk about is the things I've seen Zimbabwean business people do. You know, you go out for business, you're going to spend 50% of your money on traveling, first class, you know, fancy hotel, and then the remainder of it, you know, you then buy stuff for your business. And yet he would even, you know, sleep on the floor in his employee's house. Like, what humility, guys. Like, it's think about it. You own $1 million. Like, this was the point where he now had probably 120 stores in different places. His company was probably earning 120 million revenue. And back then, that was a lot of money, because that was like 1974, 1975, I think. And he was sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag. It's ridiculous, you know. The problem that happens these days with entrepreneurship is now it's been put on this pedestal where it's this fancy life, fancy cars, fancy women, traveling, all this and that. And people become too fancy for the game. You know, they become too fancy for the game, and they let go of the basics that got them to where they are. And he never let go of those basics, which is why he got far to where he was going. Tip 12 is rise up early. I'm yet to meet a very successful person who does not rise up early. I myself am still struggling with this. I was proud of myself. They got up like at 6. But these guys wake up like 4:30, 5:30, ridiculous times, you know. But the mindset is make sure to try and get up early, because that's the time where you're going to be uninterrupted. There are no distractions. You get to plan, you get to think, you get to sort out your life. Like, what's the next step? What am I going to do next? And this is the time you used to wake up at 4:30. You'd be up, probably at work already and everything like that. And even if you have nothing to do, find something to do. Make a plan. Read a book. Listen to an audio book, podcast, watch a video, something productive. Getting your day started bright and early really just changed the whole game, man. Changed the whole game. And what was ridiculous as well is that he would have days where he would only go to sleep after 12:30. So he's sleeping at 12:30, he's up by 4:30. You know, but obviously so that might not have been a day-to-day thing. It also depends with, you know, your awareness of how much do you want to achieve. So depending on how much you want to achieve, you then decide how much do you want to sacrifice. Step 13 or tip 13, you know, shrinkage isn't good for business. You know, this is the unaccounted inventory losses. You know, when you own a business, you know, like I can account. My father owns a pharmacy. You know, there'll be times where like I need like hay fever medication. Go in there, dad, I need medication. Grab from there, you know, the ting, and shrinkage. You know, and apparently it's not good for business, guys. It's not good for business. Bad business practice to do shrinkage. You know, you take from your company, you don't pay for it, and you just account it to shrinkage. It's very good for you to actually just pay for your services from your own company. It just keeps the business afloat. It also gives the people around you the right mentality that you have what is best for the business at heart. You know, you don't just take money from the registry whenever you need to go buy fuel, etc. Discipline. You do not take stuff from your company without paying for it. If you do take money from the registry, make sure you pay it back. You know, but shrinkage is very, very bad for business. Then we have tip 14, be part of the community. You know, you need to give back to the community any way you can. He used to have a tradition with his wife where they would, every Christmas, they'd get a list of like kids and stuff in orphanages, etc., and then they would get them gifts. They would be part of the church. They would be part of, like, you know, the, what are these guys called? They're those guys who, it's a consul. You know, consul is like when you get elected. They would be part of committee, exactly, the committee that runs the surrounding area, you know what I mean, when the guys were worried about our kids safe, you know, people who then make sure there's a neighborhood watch around, you know, being part of the community, being integrated into that, and making sure that your business is also benefiting the community around you, because when that happens, the people are in the community then are more likely to support your business, you know what I mean, because they become, as Gary would say, guilted into buying from you, you know what I mean. But obviously that's not the case, because what you want is an integrated life. You know, you're not just a businessman, you're not just a businesswoman, you are a person who is a complete package in society. You are contributing to the betterment of society itself. This is the whole bit of this whole be a part of the community. You don't just be stuck in the office 24/7. He did work crazy hours, but he also found time to be part of the community, be part of church. Whatever it is for you, you just make sure that you are taking part in your community and giving back, you know, to the people who are around you, who raised you, and the people who do take care of your kids, etc., when you're not around, you know, all those things. You know, tip 50, oh, it's the last sign here. Just gonna move a bit. Like this, I think it's fine. Tip 15. Don't care what others think, man. Screw people's thoughts. Literally, as Gary would say, screw them. You know, like, it might sound a bit rough, but you don't live with these people. You know, these people are not going to be around when you're sitting on your deathbed and you're not thinking about all these things you could have achieved, should have achieved. You know, don't care about what they think, because, you know, especially the people in your immediate circle. You know, because as the Bible says, you know, a prophet is not on his hometown, and even, you know, he said the same thing where, like, the people in your community are going to be the last people to recognize that you're onto something. You know, Sam Walton also recognized this. So it's a true fact that people around you will not be able to recognize what you're doing, probably won't be supportive. Sometimes it's going to be your mom, sometimes it's going to be your dad, sometimes it's going to be your sister, sometimes it's going to be your spouse. Sometimes you just got to put your foot down, like, listen, I gotta do this for me, man. You know, and in the immediate, you know, future, they might not see that this is good for them too, but eventually everyone does come around. You just have to stick it out where they're through. And then you've got tip 16. You need to be able to manage the company well. You know, this might seem like, of course you need to manage your company well, you know what I mean, like, also you can run a company, but there's certain things you need to do. You know, you need to take care of your people. Yes, take care of your employees. You know, Sam himself had policy of actually, he obviously didn't start this way, you know, he used to pay the minimum wage, and then he used to get in trouble with unions and stuff, you know, and then eventually, you know, it dawned on him that, you know, he then strategized a way of making his employees partners in the company itself. Yes, partners, where someone who was driving his trucks for him would eventually leave the company and have $600,000. That's ridiculous. You're driving trucks for someone, you know, imagine all you're doing is logistics. You're driving goods from one shop to the other. 20, 30 years down the line, you leave someone's company and that guy is giving you a payout of $600,000. That is called sharing profits. I will talk about this in later videos, you know, where I'll go into it in depth, but that is taking care of your own people, you know what I mean, where you make sure that your employees are happy, and in turn they make the people who buy from your customers happy, because the interactions between them are just joyful, you know what I mean. You also need to keep an eye on the fundamentals. You know, fundamentals will make you successful. Fundamentals. Look at this here. I don't know if you guys probably can't see this. There's a wasp flying around me. I'm just gonna move so I don't get stung. You know, you need to take care of the fundamentals, man. Keep an eye on fundamentals and you will be successful. It's a strong statement. Take care of the fundamentals and you will be successful. You know, you need to be able to observe and then judge these fundamentals for yourself. Again, awareness. You know, if you're not aware that you're running, you're doing that business practice, you're not going to be able to see it. So you need to become aware of what you're doing at every point in time. Like, where am I actually running my business the right way? Am I keeping to the fundamentals? Am I not being corrupt? You know, corruption is a big thing, guys. Like, my bishop always says, those who take part in corruption are not thinking long term, because if they knew the implications of corruption, they wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. So So yeah, guys. Step 17. Yeah, I got this whole list here. So I was prepping. It's a whole list. Step 17. Buying shares and stocks and investing. So if you're going to go then invest in different companies or even in your own company, or if someone is then going to come and try invest in your company, if they were going to go then talk to your employees in 10 different stores, what would your employees say? Because that information that they get back from your employees and the people who work in your stores, in your shops, would tell them a lot about what they need to know, whether or not you yourself need to invest in that certain company or they need to invest in your company. These are things that people need to do. Of course, it takes time, but if it was easy, not everyone would do it. A lot of people just go and invest in companies and they don't do proper research because they just heard, oh my gosh, this company is doing well, etc. And they're like, yeah, jump on the hype train. But how many people have actually gone and checked, like, okay, the people running Bitcoin, the people who work there, what are they saying about the person who actually started Bitcoin? Are they enjoying working there, or is that guy just a douche? A lot of companies have this douche mentality because Steve Jobs. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. So yes, because Steve Jobs kind of ran his company in a douche way, and because he became successful, a lot of companies then were like, oh, okay, for me to be successful, I need to become a douchebag to my employees and stuff, of which that's not the case. You know what I mean? You can be a very good person, taking care of your people, and you will rise together, because success is about bringing up leaders around you and making leaders, and the leaders themselves will bring your company up. Tip 18. When you go public and take your company on the stock market, don't go to the bankers. He believed that your time was better spent talking to the people inside your own company, and they are the best people to then invest in your company because they work there. If they own a part of the company, they are more obliged to work with honor and dignity, and are more likely to then work harder to then further the company itself. So don't spend your time, go talking to brokers, etc. Of course, you're going to have to write, statements and journals and articles and stuff that need to be published in those, in their papers and everything. But make sure you're spending majority of your time dealing with your people in-house. And I'm sure also Gary Vee does the same thing. He's got an open door policy where you can come into his office, anytime, 5-minute meeting, got to talk about what are you going through, are you doing okay, is there something we can help you with. And the guy who started Viome, who I talked about in the last video, I'll probably put a link to his name below. He talks about how he wants to make sure that his employees, when they come into the company, that they wake up every day excited to come to work, And that he says that if they are not happy, if at some point they become unsatisfied and they feel like the job is just a job, he will personally go and find them another job. See, that is taking care of your people. That is taking care of your people. Step 19, these customers keep coming back. Always worry about taking care of your customers and not the stock price. See, like I said earlier in the video part 1, I'll put a link somewhere around the video. It is very, very important to take care of your in-house people. The stock markets will always fluctuate up and down, but if you keep to the fundamentals, it always works out. Patience in the long game, it always works out. You need to make sure that you do not lose the team concept. You need to make sure that you keep the family concept in your company viable. You need to make sure that it's realistic and it's meaningful as your company grows. Because some people, they start off, as a family and everything, and then the company grows and all of a sudden the guy becomes disconnected. There's this book, From Bureaucrats to Democrats, I think. From barbarians to bureaucrats. There we go. From barbarians to bureaucrats, where it talks about how when you become an aristocrat or a bureaucrat, now you think you're above everybody else. Now you think that you're a god, that you're untouchable. And a lot of these companies went through that. Nokia, Kodak. You remember Kodak? Yes, that camera company. Instagram showed up and boom. Uber, used to have almost 100 million rides a day. And all of a sudden, CEO gets fired, and all of a sudden Taxify starts popping up and all these other companies start popping up. Nokia used to own a 52% market share, now they own 2%. And because they were cocky, Android came out, they decided, no, we don't need Android. Guess what happened? Hubris. You're gonna fall. So just make sure you always stick to fundamentals as you grow. Just keep making sure that you have people who are holding you accountable and stuff like that. Tip 20, work ethic. Oof. That is a tough one even for me. You know, some days, like right now, probably working maximum 12 hours a day. Maximum. There's no way I'm working 16 hours a day. These guys used to work 16 hours a day at the times, you know, when they're building up shop, setting up shop. And again, it's about being self-aware. You know, you need to be able to correlate, okay, where do I want to go and how much effort do I need to put in? You need to be able to do that, because you can't then expect yourself to be a billionaire and then you're working 12 hours a day. You know, you need to make sure that you know whether you're a part-timer, whether you're a full-timer, or you're an all-the-timer. You know what I mean? Because all-the-timers are working between 16 to 18 hours a day. Full-timers are working 12 hours a day. And then, you know, the part-timers are just working maybe 6 to 8 hours a day, 9 maybe. You know, the normal 9 to 5 with the 2-hour lunch break. People need to become realistic with their expectations and how much they're willing to actually sacrifice. Because a lot of people then become disappointed, like, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard, and you know, I'm not going anywhere, my company's not going anywhere, and yet you are just chilling, 2-hour lunch break, watching YouTube videos on Facebook, Instagram. You know, all those things can be used usefully, because, you know, for myself, when I'm on Instagram, you know, 80% of the time I am commenting on pictures of, you know, hashtags that are important to what I'm interested in. Same thing on Twitter. You know, it's all about how you use something. You know, the ROI of a basketball to me, probably 0, you know, because, you know, I used to be good in high school, but now, you know, the struggle is real. But the ROI for basketball to Michael Jordan was millions, you know what I mean? So it's all about how you use an instrument and just being aware of what you're good at, and then scaling that to the realistic expectations of what you want. If you want something bigger, sacrifice more. If you're happy, you know, having a 9 to 5, then be happy with the 9 to 5, build a family. It's okay, as long as you are happy, because at the end of the day, what matters is not money, it's the fact that you yourself are happy. That's the important thing. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you content? Then if you are, mazel tov, man, mazel tov. So yes, I think I'll end here, part 2 of this vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do share with your friends. Thanks again for the support, guys. Hope this was really useful to you. Cheers.